Hello. So just yesterday I covered the historical IGN Shinano, and today we'll be covering her counter, the tier 10 US submarine, the Archerfish. Now the Archerfish is going to be the fastest submarine at the game, where it can go up to 47 knots. And yes, you did hear me right. This is going to be the fastest submarine in the game. It is a Gato type submarine. So a lot of the similarities there. One of the biggest things, though, that this thing has very special ping and torpedoes, where the pings don't last very long on the ship that they ping, but you have over 900 meter per second pings. So very hard to miss your target, which includes destroyers, cruisers, or battleships. But this thing is definitely going to be more of a surface to periscope depth submarine like the Gato, but instead of using the non-guided torpedoes, this thing is going to be heavily reliant on its guided torpedoes, and we're going to be talking about that ship today. So to be able to get this ship, you have to buy in the steel bundle pack during the steel event, which will be starting on November 28th and 29th, which should be today for NA, and it's going to cost 36,000 steel. And you're able to get that throughout that whole event. And now they did announce that the Archerfish and the Shinano will be available after the steel event for steel, but the other ships that are in the steel event will not be. And they have not announced what those are for yet. And I'll talk about those ships in another video. But today we're going to be focusing on the Archerfish and what makes her so special. So let's just go right off the bat and talk about this ship's main traits, right? This thing has a lot of consumables. You have damage control, you have 5 base, you have 2 repair parties, which you can only use them on the surface, but they heal 20% of the HP over 40 seconds and have an 80-second cooldown. And the thing is that you may say, oh, that's a long cooldown, but you get a combat instruction on this thing. And funny enough, this combat instruction activates a 50% progress if you hit a torp. So it takes 2 torpedoes to get full progress, and this combat instruction automatically activates. And when it does activate, you get a 17.5% buff to your reload time on your torpedoes. You get a 20% quicker time for the consumable cooldown time. So you get your heals faster, the battery back quicker, and the engine boost, and the submarine surveillance. You get all that back quicker. Oh yeah, by the way, this thing has an engine boost, by the way. An engine boost, of all things. I didn't know a submarine needed an engine boost, but apparently this one does. So on the surface, right off the bat, you can already tell this thing is quick, right? If you have the engine boost going, it goes about 42 or 43 knots, but when you have the enlarged propeller shaft active as well, which I'll be talking about the build at the end of the video, it goes up to 47 knots, which is faster than most destroyers. And this is on the surface and periscope depth, not where the U-45, it does its speed at 30 meters or 60. This does it on the surface or periscope, so you're able to outrun a lot of destroyers, and that is going to be a nightmare. We thought the U-45 was a nightmare. Yeah, this is going to be a whole nother level. Going back to the combat instruction, you only get progress from landing torpedoes and if you receive potential damage. And guess this, the potential damage is only 1,500, by the way, for 50% progress. So you only have to take 3,000 damage, potential damage, by the way, 3,000 potential damage to get your combat instruction going, which is literally insane. Like, only 3,000. Like, I don't know what Wargaming was thinking, but like, dude, why the hell is it only 3,000? Like, that is actually insane. So you get the combat instruction really quick for barely anything, and it automatically activates. So you don't have to activate it, it does it on its own. Now some people may not like that, but I thought they were like, oh well, it's submarines, right? They're already having too much to deal with. Who needs to click the combat instruction, right? And that's pretty much what we were thinking. So yeah, anyway, let's move back to the maneuverability. So this ship, top speed 47 knots, with the speed boost and the enlarged propeller shaft and the speed flag. Its base speed is 33 knots, which is already insanely quick. You have a 16 knot submerged, so if you go to 30 meters to 60, this thing's incredibly slow, like the Thrasher, which is incredibly slow underwater. This thing is a slug underwater, so you want to play this thing on the surface or periscope. If you dive deep, you aren't going to be going anywhere. You do have a 510 meter turning radius, which isn't the best, but it is what it is. And you have a 7.2 second rudder shift. This thing is very maneuverable. Use that speed to your advantage and you'll be perfectly fine. So moving on, let's talk about the other thing that makes this ship unique. It has the torpedoes. So this thing has 6 torpedoes on the front and 4 on the rear. And it has 2 loaders, just like the Gato or any other American, where it loads 2 at a time in the front and the rear. Now it does have homing torpedoes that are 10-kilometer range, and they go 89 knots, and they do 8,500 damage and have a 40-second reload. The normal torpedoes are 6-kilometer range with 61 knots and do 15,000 damage and have the same 40-second reload. And again, like you notice from the ranges, they're very short range. They're not very long, so you have to get very close to a target, right? Which is what the speed is for. Your speed is to be able to run down other ships, to be able to get your torpedoes off and do damage. But I would not recommend trying to shotgun, quote unquote, the normal torpedoes like you do with the Gato. They're definitely slower and they don't do as much damage as the Gatos, so it doesn't have as big of a payoff as the Gatos does, so I really wouldn't recommend that. Now, for the ping, which is also special for this ship, the ping is way quicker than other pings. It has a 900 meter velocity, and instead of it having a 30 and like 60-second ping duration, this only has a 15-second ping duration on a single ping, and a 20-second for the double ping. So it means that you're gonna have to ping a lot in this ship, and I do mean a lot, to keep your target going. But this thing has so many torpedoes and so maneuverable, it really shouldn't be a problem. I don't think so. And during my time playing, I didn't really see it as an issue. Just use your speed or maneuver and you'll be perfectly fine. But that is something unique about this ping. They're very quick, very easy to hit, but they have very short ping duration. So you have to be careful when keeping your target spotted. Now, something funny about this ship, very funny. This ship has 2 127 millimeter guns that can actually shoot, and you can aim them. It has artillery, and the turrets are 360, by the way, and it is SAP only. And they do have destroyer dispersion, and they have a 6.5 kilometer range. And yeah, it's more like for fun or like for show. Like if you're fighting another submarine that's next to you, you can actually shoot them and do damage with a SAP, but they're very low damage. I don't expect people to try to gunfight with this ship, but if you want to meme and fight other submarines with that, you perfectly can. It'll be pretty hilarious to do so. I'll definitely like to see some videos of people doing that, or I'll be doing that whenever the ship is off NDA, and I'll be having fun with that on stream. You guys can check me out over on Twitch. It's the same name as here, so you guys can check it out there. All right, so we talked about the torpedoes. We talked about the maneuverability. Let's talk about the hull. So it's a submarine hull, right? Nothing special, no armor. You're squishy. You get shot at, it's gonna hurt. So be careful about being shot at. You have 20,200 HP. It's not bad for a sub, but it is a sub. So you're squishy. Don't get shot at, and you'll be perfectly fine. The Archerfish is also holds the record for the largest warship sunk by a submarine, which was the Shinano, which was kind of funny that it's kind of cool how they were released at the same time. The Shinano and the Archerfish being released at the same time. It's pretty cool. I'm also curious what you guys think of the Shinano as well, so let me know in the comments down below what you think as well. So other than what we were talking about, there isn't anything else really special about the Archerfish. It has the really unique combat instruction, which really sets it apart against other submarines. It has high maneuverability, great torpedoes. This thing is more of a run and gun kind of submarine. Not the same as a U-45, per se. It's more like a Gato, but you're just a speed demon using torpedoes. For sure. And sorry, using the frick it. What's it? Using the homing torpedoes. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. I got a brain fart for a second there. But anyway, so going off of that, let's just let my overall review of this ship, right? So this is the first submarine with a combat instruction in the game, right? And like I was saying, it's a really weird one. It auto activates. You don't have to activate it yourself. Like, some people may not like that. I'm like in the middle. It's automatic. It's not something you have to worry about. So it's like, it's whatever. It's very easy to activate. You only need 2 torpedo hits on a target to activate it, or legit 1 stray battleship or cruiser shell. So funny enough, like I sat next to in one of my matches, I sat next to a cruiser that was being shot at and it just got the potential damage like instantly. It's really hilarious. And with that combat instruction, it means you're getting your battery back quicker, the reserve battery. You're getting your submarine surveillance back quicker. You're getting your DCP back quicker. You're getting your heal back quicker, and the engine boost. And by the way, that repair party can heal up to like 6,000 damage, and you can get 3 of them if you do the build that I'll be showing at the end of the video. It's pretty insane on how this ship has a heal, the engine boost. It has so many consumables. I almost think there's too many consumables on this ship. But it is a steel ship, so I guess they had to make it special in that regard, right? But again, it's a very unique submarine, and like I don't like playing subs, but if you like this sort of thing and you got the steel for it, I'd recommend. It's a very unique playstyle over the other submarines in the game. You'll definitely enjoy it if you like this sort of thing, right? Now, the Archerfish is the second tier 10. Sorry, this is the third tier 10 submarine in the game. You have the Baleo, the Gato, and now the Archerfish. Pretty much, you just sit on the surface. If you go and dive, you're slow as a slug, and you'll easily get killed. In anything within 10 kilometers of you, you're going to absolutely murder, so you'll have definitely a good time there. But I will say this ship is definitely tricky to play. You do have to be careful in your engagements. If you do not, you're going to be really suffering. And again, if you don't have the steel, you can always get the U-45 instead. They are similar in how they play, but this one has a lot more freedom because you have a heal, you have an engine boost, you have a lot more consumables at your disposal on this ship compared to a U-45. Like, the U-45 does have a heal, but it's way slower when on the surface. It has to use its speed at depth. Well, this thing, it can spot for itself on the surface, it can be at periscope, it can outrun destroyers while spotting them at periscope depth. It can just do a lot of things that U-45 can't do. So I feel like this ship is going to be more of a menace in World of Warships than the U-45, which I say a lot of, but now this is going to probably be my new menace ship, per se. But that is my take on the ship. You can get it for 36,000 steel. If you guys are interested in getting it, go right ahead. I hope you enjoy playing the sub, but for me, I don't like playing submarines, so I wouldn't recommend it myself because I'm not going to be playing it that much besides showcasing it to you all. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys my build. All right, so let's take a look at the build that I have for the Archerfish and in what order I would build it. So most of you guys that are going to be playing the Archerfish probably will have a 21-point commander. If not, then I'll just be going over the ones in order. So the first one is going to be Liquidator, so that you can get a higher chance for flooding. Really nice for this ship. Second is going to be Consumable Enhancement to make your consumables last longer. Then I would take Watchful. This is very important to be able to watch out for hydro or radar or submarine surveillance. So very useful to have Watchful on. Now, some of you may take the Superintendent first, since you are going to be using a lot of the consumables because of the combat instruction. But personally, I would just take Watchful first and then Superintendent, just so that you're able to get a little extra knowledge whenever you're playing a submarine. Next one I would take is going to be Enlarged Propeller Shaft. This is how you get quicker when you're below half battery when you're on the surface or a periscope. So definitely very useful on this ship. I would take this one next for your 10 point. Next, I would personally take the Adrenaline Rush. It makes it so that, well, of course, since part of the combat instruction is you taking potential damage, it's really nice to be able to take this one first because you are going to take some damage. So getting this one first and then doing the improved battery efficiency, definitely what I would do. Then the final one, of course, would be Superintendent, depending upon whatever order you do. But that is the commander skill that I would pick. For equipment, I do the main armament. Second would be the propulsion, the engine boost modification, so that you can, get extra time on your engine boost, which is really nice. Third perk is going to be submarine surveillance to be able to help you spot the enemy submarines. You can always switch this out, quicker. You are able to switch this out for a torpedo one if you would rather do that one, but it's more of a personal preference on this one. So you can do submarine surveillance or the torpedo. Next one is going to be the steering gears. If you would like, you can do the propulsion modification instead. Pretty much once this ship gets up to speed, it's really quick. You don't really need to speed up too fast once you're already sped up. But if you do want to take this one instead, you can. It's more of a personal preference. I'd rather take the steering gears instead, but that's my own personal preference. And then, of course, I take the 2 torpedo perks here. But if you want to take the reinforced one so you take less damage, you can do that. Or you can take, or for this one, you can take extra battery time if you want that one as well. But a lot of your gameplay is going to be on the surface or a periscope. So I don't really think you need the extra battery. But if you do, then, well, you can just take that. So more personal preference. But anywho, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know in the comments down below. But thank y'all for watching, and I will talk to y'all later.